Thank you, Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier of the Eastern Cape Province, the presiding officers, Chair of Chairs and the Deputy Chair of Chairs, members of the Executive of the Legislature, the troikas of the district, metropolitan and local municipalities, leaders of the House of Traditional Leaders, leaders of faith-based organizations, business, labor and civil society, representatives of SALGA, representatives of our Chapter 9 and 10 institutions, leaders of institutions of higher learning, officials from the legislature, government departments, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable members, this year, 2021, marks the 27th anniversary of our hard-earned democracy and the 25th anniversary since the adoption of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa. We are also commemorating 100 years since the Bulhoek massacre, which was a testament of courage, sacrifice, and truth to our conviction for a just society as a people. A parallel of this heroic act can today be drawn from the patent commitment to South Africa by our frontline workers when they stepped up to the call of national duty against all odds and at great risk to themselves and that of their families. In a book, Women in Solitary, Inside the Female Resistance to Apartheid, author Shantini Naidu describes the notion of selfless contribution and national duty as follows, and I quote, "It is mostly not about great men or great women, but about the foot soldiers of resistance whose ongoing acts of service to a greater good propel the struggle against racism and apartheid in South Africa over more than a century," close quote. Honorable Deputy Speaker, the outbreak of the coronavirus and the subsequent measures taken by national government meant that the legislature had to quickly adapt. This required the formulation and implementation of a COVID-19 response and mitigation strategy. The Eastern Cape Provincial Legislature was also one of the first parliaments in the country to conduct oversight and to have formal House sittings using the virtual platforms. During this period, the House proceedings continued virtually and processed over 1,300 questions and 60 committee reports were considered and adopted by this House. We are pleased to report that the legislature in total has processed 15 bills made up of 9 national bills, of which it submitted all the mandates to the NCOP and the other 6 were provincial bills. The introduction of the district-based oversight model was expedited to maintain our oversight and our public participation functions. The implementation of the model allowed for compliance with the strict COVID-19 regulations and for members to have boots on the ground to conduct oversight and public participation in all districts. Honorable Deputy Speaker, in the 2020-21 policy speech, we committed to hosting the Women's Parliament and Parliament for the Elderly. It gives me great pleasure to report that these sectoral parliaments were successfully held and extended to representatives and participants in the various districts. During this period, we also hosted a webinar to celebrate the International Africa Day. The International Nelson Mandela Day was conducted within the framework of the district-based oversight model and provided much needed personal protection equipment for residents and staff members of these community centers. We acknowledge the partnership with the provincial government in this program, and we hope that this partnership will even continue this year. In the reporting period, we held a successful 4th annual Raymond Mhlaba Memorial Lecture, which was addressed by the Honorable Thandi Modise, the Speaker of the National Assembly. Honorable members, we are committed to building a culture embedded on ethics and integrity. To give practical meaning to this commitment, we continue to ensure compliance in the submission of disclosures of interest by both staff and honorable members. Efforts to improve the legislature's ethical culture commence with a program to raise ethical awareness within the institution. The program will culminate in the development of an ethics strategy for the legislature. Honorable members, as the country gradually emerges out of the state of disaster and lockdown regulations, the situation demands greater courage in continuing with the tasks that have been assigned to us. We must believe that there is a better tomorrow lying ahead in the horizon, and we must start to reimagine our lives without the overwhelming emotional burdens of the past year. In this regard, American poet Maya Angelou aptly captures it when she says, and I quote, "Our mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style," close quote. This is very important year where we celebrate 150 years of Mama Charlotte Maxeke. In her memory for her outstanding contribution, the work of the legislature this year will be guided by the values and principles of our revered stalwart, whose principles are still relevant for this generation and many generations to come. Honorable Deputy Speaker, despite the challenging environment, we still have a momentous task of holding the executive to account, particularly during the period of COVID-19 pandemic. For this reason, henceforth, our oversight will focus on the district-based oversight model, including our approach to the flagship programs. We intend to strengthen this model and to adapt it also to become compatible with oversight programs of the legislature. Therefore, honorable members, all the work of the committees will infuse use of this model. Equally, we will embark on 3 focused intervention studies and improve the research reports to enhance the work of committees. The legislature intends to continue exploring the development of a performance management framework for oversight committees to guide the implementation of the mandate of the legislature towards a more improved service delivery. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this year is a period for local government elections. The legislature has already met with the Independent Electoral Commission and will therefore play its part in strengthening participatory democracy by conducting its own public education program to ensure that the country consolidates on the 27 years of democracy. Delivery of this program will follow the district-based model and will be in partnership with IEC and other relevant organs of the state. Part of our education program will also include complementing the work of government in the fight against COVID-19 and the rollout of the vaccine. In this regard, members of the legislature are expected to demystify the myths and the link of the coronavirus vaccine to nefarious theories and explain the importance of being vaccinated, thus helping the province reach the envisaged population immunity status that is required. To enhance public involvement on legislature programs, we will continue live streaming of the legislature house sittings, the committee meetings and external events on our communication platforms and community media for the benefit of stakeholders and the public at large. Honorable members, having adopted an approach of an activist parliament, we are encouraging members of the communities to effectively use our parliamentary constituency offices to raise their concern. And as a responsive People's Assembly, focused follow-up will be done on the petitions submitted and channeled through to departments for effective responses and implementations. Public participation being a cornerstone of our constitutional democracy, and it is one of the key programs in which the legislature opens access to the citizens and promotes representative participation in all the democratic processes of the legislature. While the coronavirus pandemic continued to impose restrictions on direct and physical forms of public engagement, we are confident that we will successfully host again our sectoral parliaments virtually this year. And we will focus on the parliaments for children and the religious sector in this financial year. The legislature also will continue with our annual Raymond Mhlaba Memorial Lecture, as well as the Nelson Mandela Day, which will be commemorated and using the district-based model. We are still on course, honorable members, with the commitment to the Women's Caucus of renaming the boardrooms as part of the Women's Month celebration during this financial year. The legislature, as an affiliate of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association and the Commonwealth Women Parliamentaries, will hold its annual Africa Day celebrations virtually under one of its work streams of combating urbanization. The Commonwealth Women's Parliamentarians will focus on the promotion of participatory democracy and internal relations. And in this regard, the Young Women's Parliament program is planned for June this year. Honorable members, the legislature continues to participate in the development of the legislative sector bill, the proposed amendments to the Electoral Act and the development of the integrity legislation. The draft bill on scrutiny of subordinate legislation will also be introduced for consideration by the legislature. Honorable members, the upgrade of our ICT infrastructure is now nearing completion, and this will enable us to fast-track the acquisition of the long-awaited ERP system. I just lost my spot. My apologies. Furthermore, we are in the process of developing specifications for a comprehensive system that will cover the audio-visual in our boardrooms and our committee rooms that have been long outstanding. The shrinking budget in the public service and the need for fiscal consolidation are new challenges facing government today. And as we embark on these developments, we have considered it imperative to prioritize the review of our structures and programs with an aim of achieving the same objectives, but now with an efficient and an effective structure. This process has now started, and critical stakeholders such as labor and management are directly involved, as this process is internally driven. We intend on embarking on a very special program this year that will document the rich history of the legislature. This program is envisaged to be a 2-year project supported by the Legislature Research Unit. It entails the retrieving and sourcing of data of critical historic epochs of the legislature. This project is intended to preserve our institutional heritage for the benefit of generations to come. The Rules Committee has adopted a framework for the lifestyle audits, which will be rolled out in phases. The first phase will be conducted on the presiding officer, secretary of the legislature, executive managers, chief financial officer, and their spouses or life partners. The audits will cover a period of 2 years. The State Security Agency, which has been approached and has now agreed to conduct the lifestyle audits, and they have also assigned an official who will lead this process in the Eastern Cape Legislature. Honorable members, our supplies chain management requires a strong and capable internal audit function, and it remains critical to continuous improvement of internal controls. A review of this function will be undertaken to ensure it supports the financial reforms that seek transparency, responsiveness, and efficiencies in the finance and the supply chain management. Honorable members, the budget outlook for 2021-2022, we have received and appropriated an amount of 553. We do know that effectively this is a 9% reduction from the previous financial year. We have committed to Provincial Treasury to find innovative and alternative methods in executing our constitutional mandate and to stay within the budgetary commitments. We acknowledge we are all in this together as the Eastern Cape province. The budget allocation is per the program and it is in the document. Honorable Deputy Speaker, this time last year, we were all gripped by perhaps the greatest fear of our lives, a time of great anxiety and uncertainty, a time where our hopes, dreams, and aspirations for the future became an instant blur, a time that threatened our lives, livelihoods, and our way of life. Devastating scenes from developed countries in Europe did not inspire confidence and rather painted a bleak picture that we were in trouble and on the brink of chaos and hopelessness. President Thabo Mbeki aptly captures this moment when he said, and I quote, "Gloom and despondency has never defeated adversity. Trying times needs courage and resilience. Our strength as a people is not tested during the best of times," close quote. This was indeed the worst of times, and our strength truly tested, as we were either infected or affected in one way or the other. We are therefore eternally grateful for the courage and the resilient spirit of Chief Makoma, Chief David Stearman, Enoch Mkijima, Charlotte Makeke, Lillian Ngoyi, that was magnanimously displayed by frontline workers, and the inspirational leadership demonstrated during this time of gloom and despondency. Honorable members, we are now on the cusp of victory because of our spirit of Ubuntu, during a time when we could have easily opted for self-preservation, but chose to protect and to fight for one another. This is indeed a time of hope that victory is certain, and we should not let our guard down, but rather we become more vigilant now than ever before. Honorable Deputy Speaker, let me express my gratitude to the African National Congress for affording me the opportunity to lead this institution. I also thank my fellow presiding officers, the Chief Whip of the Legislature, the Legislature Oversight Committee, and all members of the Legislature for the continued support and robust engagements as we seek to make the Legislature a better institution that is able to fully discharge its mandate. Allow me to thank the Secretary of the Legislature and the management team, and also express a word of gratitude to the Labour Union NAHAO and their commitment to help the Legislature fulfill its purpose. Nkosi Sikelele, Africa, Khotsi and Africa. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I hereby table the document Policies and Budget Vote 2021-22, the Annual Performance Plan 2021-22. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.